Hi guys, so I'm hoping to, I'll wait till everybody gets on, but I'm just going to talk about some things that I believe is going to help a lot of people in this time, because I believe that the Lord is really speaking about relationships per se. But I'll wait until people begin to join before I just start rambling. Well, not rambling, but sharing. But yeah. So, okay. So one thing that I have noticed is the Lord is really speaking about relationships in this time. And he is beginning to really point out a lot of people are actually leaving relationships, or relationships are ending due to the insecurity of another. And I don't mean to say insecurity as in the standpoint of belittling someone, because I understand insecurity. I recognize insecurity. I definitely, I sympathize because I definitely understand what it feels like to be insecure about yourself. And not only that, to just lack that confidence in yourself, in your identity, I should say. But in reality, I truly believe that the Lord is really wanting to tackle that insecurity within a lot of women per se, because you're his daughter. I think that the Lord is really wanting to build up us as daughters, I should say. But one thing that the Lord was really pointing out to me when it comes to insecurity amongst women was Mary and Martha. I thought it was so interesting how he did that, because it was literally this morning I was studying my Bible and it was like he was sitting there. It was literally, I've never looked at this story in the way that I saw it, or the way that I read it before, but the way that I see the story of Mary and Martha now, it makes sense. It's almost like symbolic of what's happening with a lot of women, or sisters in Christ, I should say, when it comes to one another. In the story of Mary and Martha, you begin to kind of see Martha, she starts to compare what she's doing to what Mary is doing. And she goes before the Lord and she's like, Lord, why don't you tell her to come and help me? But then it's like, hey, but then it's it's interesting, because that's what a lot of women, or a lot of us do. And I'm not saying that as to pinpoint women, but I'm speaking specifically on women because I am a woman. But a lot of women, I should say, will begin to look at another woman and see what another woman is doing, and it's almost like, oh God, why are you doing that for her? Why can't you do that for me? Why are you it's literally like you're comparing yourself, which is actually really dangerous, because it then can turn into jealousy. And not only that, you're viewing it through the wrong lens. So Jesus literally then goes to her, he literally tells her, he's like, hold on, you're worried about many things, but there's only one thing that's needed. And the Lord began to tell me, he's like, look up the word worry. I looked at the word worry. It literally means anxious. Then he said, look at the word insecurity. And I looked at it, and it literally means anxious, like anxiety. And so the Lord began to show me, he's like, he literally called out the insecurity within Martha to help her see that the very thing that she was literally upset with Mary for, he's actually called her to do. So a lot of women today, what you see in another woman is actually something that he's actually called you to. He could be calling you to, and it's like mismanaged. It's literally like a mismanaged way, or inspiration, I should say. And although it doesn't say that, Martha was inspired, but she was doing the very thing that Jesus wasn't requiring of her. And in this time, I truly believe that the Lord really wants to shift a lot of women's perspective into saying, hey, there's nothing else that you need to worry about, but to literally sit at my feet, hear of my voice, inquire of me. This is the only thing I require of you. He didn't care about anything else that needed to be done in that house. The only thing he was looking for was obedience, submission, and to pour into them, pour into her, pour into them, I should say. And it's so interesting because there's so many verses in the Bible where it literally talks about us inquiring of the Lord, seeking his face. This is what Mary was doing. But if only Martha could see that which what Mary was doing was actually meant for her, she wasn't excluded. Jesus didn't tell her to go do all of that stuff. She did it on her own. And not only that, if she was very aware, you should have been prepared before the king came. Okay, you shouldn't have been preparing while he's there, because at the end of the day, it's all about him. And so I literally see just the need right now for a lot of women, and I don't call you out to belittle you. Again, I get it when it comes to insecurity, but we have to be very careful when it comes to insecurities, because it's important to notice them, but it's more important to cast them at the feet of Jesus. This is why the Bible tells us, if insecurity has anything to do with anxiety or anxiousness, there are many verses in the Bible that tells us, be anxious for nothing. Cast all of your cares unto the Lord because he cares for you. Does that make sense? So it's so important in this time to be anxious for nothing. This isn't just to deal with, what's going on in the world. And it's very interesting too. Anxiousness is actually a stem of fear. So if you notice that there's fear there, the Bible actually talks about women specifically saying, it says, it tells us to operate as daughters of Sarah, right? Because she operated in faith. So it's literally telling you, I thought it was so interesting that the Bible talked about women in that specific verse being fearful. I was like, wow, that is so interesting. But because, it's just so interesting how many of us have that anxiety or have that insecurity, the fears of how we look, or the fear of not being, and then too, it also has a lack of value or a lack of sight or understanding of how much you are valued by the Lord. So be like Mary in this time. I truly believe the Lord is saying, he's calling his daughters, sit at my feet, inquire of me, hear what I say about you. Does that make sense? Hear what I say about you, because you are my daughter. It's sad that many relationships end in the way that they do, because people are very insecure. And I don't say that just to belittle people, but it is a thing. We have to call it what it is. People are very, very insecure, but the Lord is inviting you right alongside the person that you may feel inferior to or insecure about, or the person that makes you feel insecure. He's inviting you to come and sit at his feet as well. You're not excluded. Even Jesus approached Martha in love. Like he said, Martha, Martha. He didn't go, you insecure part. Like he literally said, Martha, Martha, you are worried and bothered about these things that I'm paraphrasing, but I'm not calling you. I'm not putting that on you. You put that on yourself. Come and sit at my feet and hear what I say about you. So anyway, I pray that this really helps you, because I truly believe, like I said, I believe the Lord is wanting to call many of us out of these insecurities. He's calling that Martha out and to come and sit at his feet, because truly it's what's desired of him. Sometimes it's hard to sit and just be still and to listen, but push through, because the Lord has something to say. That is so true. It was so interesting too, because a lot of my prayer times with the Lord is, I do have a tendency, I'm still learning. I will just begin to speak. I'll praise and speak, but then there are moments where he won't let me say anything. And I have to be mindful to let him speak before I even say anything, because at the end of the day, it's a heart matter. He's literally looking at the heart, and he's always speaking. He's always speaking and always pouring into his girls. Y'all, I'm telling you, whoever's watching this, you gotta know that you are a daughter of the Most High God. You are his daughter, and that he wants to show you beautiful things that only he can show you, that will literally awaken your heart and literally help you to understand who you are in him, truly. Because I'm telling you, insecurity is not your portion. He values you so much. He literally values you so much that he gave his life for you. That's how precious you are to him. And he wants to give more to you. Like, do you understand? He wants to give so much more. But it's really ultimately up to you. And this is why he wants to break insecurity off, because it'll stunt your growth in him. That insecurity that you have will literally halt you. He wants to uncover it so you can sprout and be the beautiful flower. I'm saying flower, but that's just what I see. But be the beautiful, beautiful daughter that he's called you to be. And also, it's important to remember something too. The Lord showed me this. We are all running the same race, but we're in our own lanes. So, and running for a crown. It's not like a specific first place. This is a crown that you will have to eventually get and cast it back down at the feet of the Savior anyway. So there's no point in competing with one another. There's no point. This isn't a competition. You know, you are doing all things unto the glory of God, for him and for his will, if that makes any sense. If he feeds the birds of the air, how much more will he take care of you? We are more valuable. That is so true. That is the word. Anyway, God bless you guys. I pray that you take this well, and I pray that it encourages you. Those of you who are insecure, you know, listen, it's better to say I am insecure about a lot. Listen, I have to sit with him too. God, this is striking an insecurity in me, but I have to shift my perspective that this insecurity that I'm recognizing is actually an invitation of the Lord to go deeper in him, to listen to him. Anyway, you guys are so welcome. God bless you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.